You sit on many boards across both the private and public sectors. Is there a common thread regarding the priorities boards are focusing on at this moment in time?
Yeah, there are always priorities and focuses, and one of them always is risk management for boards. Boards are always wanting to make sure that risk is mitigated and addressed. But as one would imagine, the pandemic has heightened that awareness of what boards are focused on. And really, we're talking about we didn't anticipate the last pandemic. How do we anticipate the other one? And we always used to call it a black swan, but that's a focus in every board that we're on. And what amplifies that is what we've heard in the previous sessions, and it's all about cybersecurity and ransomware. So that's a different kind of a risk, but really prevalent among any of the board discussions that I'm having and sitting on. And then again, leading from pandemic, which one wouldn't think that so many things, positive things, I suppose, are happening, but it's caused us to rethink our leadership. How do we lead in this work from home, work remote, as I was hearing? Not only how do we lead, how do we find and hire talent in this new world that we're in? And the boards are concerned about that because it ranges all the way from the executive team to every employee. So risk management, cyber leadership, boards are all focusing on that, whether you're public or private. And then the umbrella around it is how do we continue to grow our company and stay efficient and effective in this marketplace? So busy time at the board levels right now.
I remember that a year and a half or even 2 years ago, you and I had a conversation about this very same topic. And it's interesting that despite the changing times, how many of the same priorities have remained. Many executives in my network are interested in board positions. What are the skill sets boards are looking for in someone with a tech leadership background?
Yeah, it's one of the things that I've really been impressed with. I've been doing board work for well over 14 or 15 years, and it's evolved into boards now have a skills matrix. So it's no longer sort of your neighbor, hey, do you want to be on the board with me? It's now what are the skills that the board needs and what are the skills they currently have and what are they looking for? So obviously I lead with my technology skills. That's my primary lead. I did a lot of work on risk when I was a CIO, as most CIOs would do, and that's what boards are looking for. So when you combine your knowledge of technology, and right now that means cyber, that means privacy, digital transformation, innovation, you combine that with your risk background, that's a really good selling point that a board, most boards, all boards are going to be looking for because every board now realizes that they need technology at the board level. But I'll honestly say it's not enough because you can't be so tunnel driven, if you will. So you do need to have a broader perspective. And so I would say that you need to be a strategic thinker, think about the big picture. How does technology, as every CIO always did, how does technology really enhance the business? And so from a board level, you have to think about asking those right questions of how does technology help enhance the business while mitigating risks, as I was talking about. So it's a CIO, but sitting on the other end of the table. And most CIOs have had to report into the board. So I think you know what it would be like when you're sitting on that other side. You get to ask the tough questions that you're being asked right now, but it's all because of the focus of risk and strategy.
Well said, having broad experiences, backgrounds, but also hone in on your broad perspectives.
Right.
So when people think about getting themselves ready for board positions, oftentimes the first thing that comes to mind is I've got to get a certification training. That is important, but certainly not enough. What practical steps should CIOs take to optimize their opportunities for board considerations?
Well, as we said, I mean, it is about broadening your experience. So, although you want to lead with something like technology or risk, you do want to have that broad C-level experience, looking at things strategically. And then obviously, as I said, looking at what skills boards are looking for. And so that'll help you understand maybe where you need to enhance some of your skills if you look at current board positions. Even if you're not interested on a board right now, just look around and see what board positions are asking for. That'll give you a clue of where you may want to strengthen some of your particular skills. Certification training is important, but it has to come at the right time. You need to do it when you are either sitting on a board or looking to get onto a board. And there's different kinds, and I will say they're expensive. So mark your way in terms of when you want to spend that kind of money, or if you're lucky, get your company to spend it for you. But I would say start with nonprofit boards. They're a good example of what a regular board will be, but sort of at a different level. So starting with a nonprofit board is a great way to start feeling what it's like to be on boards. But I'll go back to something that I've heard some of you say before. It's a network. It's who you know. It's who knows you. It who knows your skills. Who knows what they're looking. So build your network. Build your relationship. Keep that going because that is super important even at the board level. So you started with the certification machine. It is important, but I would say at the right time. Don't get it too soon if you're not ready to get onto a board because things are evolving. But broadening your experience, look at the skills the boards are looking for, get trained. But that nonprofit is going to give you a really good feel of what it's like to be on a board.
Great points here. There really isn't any amount of training that can replace the lived experience.
Mhm.
So putting your hand up for nonprofit boards or pro bono advisory roles will certainly give you that leg up. And I'm totally in agreement with the networking and relationship piece. So we do have time for a bonus question, 30 seconds, very quick. You've been involved in board level initiatives for well over a decade. Since your official retirement from a corporate CIO, your scope has not reduced but expanded. What is your secret sauce for staying in demand?
Getting up early and going to bed late. No, it doesn't change. The secret really is to stay current and relevant. I mean, sometimes people think, oh, I'm a technologist, I'll get on a board and I'll just keep talking about technology. Anyone on this call knows that that's not true. The reason we're doing this is so to spread our experience, our knowledge. So you have to stay current, you have to stay relevant because that's what boards are looking for. It's not what I did when I was a CIO 20 years ago. It's what am I knowing now? So I take part in as many conferences as I can. I like to learn from other people because I'm not doing some things hands-on, although I do some consulting work because that does give me hands-on experience. So and then networking, that's how you do it. You talk to people and you hear what's going on. So I'll just go back. Current and relevant is what the boards are looking for.
Thank you, and stay curious and keep
Mhm.
learning. I
Yep.
really appreciate your time today, Helen. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.